You're watching EVH and Gear TV, brought to you by Stewart Travel Guitars. See the incredible stowaway travel guitar at stewartguitars.com. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rode Microphones. And official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com. Here's your host from Ontario, Canada, EVH artist Eric Broadbent.
Hey everyone, happy Friday to you all. Welcome to EVH and Gear TV. We are live and we are extremely hot and sweaty in this part of southwestern Ontario right now. I have Eric Jr. here with me this evening. For about the first 30 minutes, we're going to talk about some music, some of the things he's been working on, some of the music that he's got me to discover, which is really, really great. I mean, I've always been kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to music and only listen to certain artists. And I'm very, very thankful for youth to get me out of that little kind of one-track, mindset of music. And we'll talk about some of the artists he's kind of made me discover, and even a couple new ones as well, too, in the past couple weeks. So he's going to jump in with us here for the first 30 minutes. So, Junior, we'll go over and say hi to a bunch of people as well, too. But first of all, it's nice to have you on the program again. It's been a while since I've had you on the show.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
I mean, you're here every day, every single day with us, but it's kind of a nice family event tonight. I think we've got the whole trifecta of us going. Mom's running the chat like she always does ever so efficiently. And, I've got you here as well, too, so it's nice to have you, buddy.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here again. It's been, I don't know how long it's been since the whole little thing with, like, the whole, like, group thing on Hangouts.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
By the way, your audio sounded really good. Junior's using my, it's his now, the Rodecaster Pro mixing console, and he's using the Rode NT1, sounding really, really good. I'm getting a nice, good audio feed from you. It's sounding good for you there as well, too?
Yeah, it sounded great.
Awesome. All right, let's say hi to a bunch of people here. And then after Junior jumps off, I wrote the 9:30 mark. I'm going to go through some tunes, just play some tunes with you for a little bit. And keeping it a little darker in here tonight as well, too. You'd be surprised, even with some of these LED lights, some of the power sources in these things actually do kick off heat. And I'm keeping it as dim as possible in here. It's extremely hot today, which I'm not going to complain for because we've got a new pool in the backyard, quite big pool. And for the first week we had it installed, it was about 60 degrees. Remember, we were like looking at the pool every day, just hoping we could get in there, and we couldn't. That was kind of a bummer, wasn't it? Can you still hear me?
Sorry.
Are you okay?
Sorry, I was watching. Sorry, I was watching some of the playback. So.
No problem. No problem. Okay, let's go over to the chat and say hi. Jason Wade's here. Gary Tholander is here. Carlo Santin is here. Andrew Bonica is here from Line 6. Nice to have you, buddy. Says, what's up, brother? Fart, I Killed Noobs. I love that name. It's one of the favorite names in the chat. There's always got to be a fart in the chat, right? And there he is. Brian Cote is here. Defcon Clark is here. R2R3 Locking Nut is here. Mark Taylor. Scott Connor is here. Andrew says, speaking of hot and sweaty, just happened to be taking a break from cleaning the garage and painting my kitchen. Good timing for the show. Perfect. Nice. Mom, Nocturnal Butterfly is here. See Guitar Hack. Actually, he's asking about Guitar Hack. That's R2. Here's the thing as well, too. We didn't want to take tonight off. I've been bumping guests back and forth to accommodate their schedule. This is like the busiest time for touring musicians. There's festival after festival after festival. So we got some great things coming up in the distant near future. We finally got Alex Skolnick coming back into the program. We're going to have Todd Kearns hopefully coming up here very, very soon, just trying to nail down the date, which was, we're moving because he's on tour with Slash right now, obviously, overseas. So we're going to have him on the show and a bunch of other guests. We're just trying to accommodate their schedule with all these festivals. So it's been a juggling act. So I thought, you know what, instead of taking the night off, let's have some fun, get Eric Jr. on the show here as well, too. Scott Roos is here. Terry Himes is here. Andreas Hensler, good evening, good morning, or afternoon, everyone, depending on the time zones, of course. Neil Swan is here as well, too. And Ladybug is jumping in as well, too. So I'm going to try to highlight down at the bottom where she's on so I don't miss anybody else. It's kind of my way of just kind of finding out where I left off. And I know I'm probably going to mess that up later as well, too. So a few things before we start talking about Junior's music here, which is really, really cool and very inspiring. He's written a couple songs that, I questioned him on the authenticity of it. It's like when you write something, if you're writing a report for school. And Junior, you know about this as well too. Maybe like a fiction story, or whatever, some kind of a drama, and you hand it in. And the teacher's like, "Hey, did you plagiarize this because it's so good?" Right? And that's what I felt with a couple of your songs. We'll talk about those in a few minutes because they are so I have 100% faith in you, obviously, in your talent. But some of these things that you wrote, I was like, and even Mom was like, what? You know, like he wrote this? So we'll talk about that in a bit. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some of the music that I've discovered thanks to Junior here.
Yeah.
And I'll go back a little bit. Actually, this goes back a couple of years. But one band that I'm going to say right off the get-go, you're actually wearing the shirt right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Gorillaz. So tell us about Gorillaz, when you discovered them, what they were like for you, and then, and then I'll kind of share my thoughts after the fact on, what it did for me discovering this music.
So you want me to talk about like how I discovered them and all
Yeah,
that?
and then what kind of turned you on about them and stuff like that?
So like back when I had like the computer tower, like the Dell tower, I was always on the computer and all that, playing like like Happy Wheels and all that. I used to fantasize YouTube, and the recommended pages always wacky. And music video for Feel Good Inc. just came around back in 2010 when I was on that computer. And, I clicked on it, and there's also an advertisements all over the place. And then, I didn't even bother about it. Fast forward to like late 2015, I found them again. I actually listened to the band a bit. I scrolled through some of the music videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started being like, hey, it's actually not that bad. And then I was there for, waiting for them to drop their new album. Humans at that time was the new album, which was like
2016? 17?
2017. That's when the album came out. April, I think. Okay. Around there. As you know, we saw them in July, so that was pretty awesome. And then, before that, I just said, let's buy some of these albums, put them on the iPod,
No, we only saw them once in concert, is that correct?
No.
We saw them both times?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first time we didn't get to meet them, second time we did, is that right? I'm just trying to remember the timeline.
Yeah, so we saw them back, I actually remember the date for the first one, the July 10th, 2017.
I remember that, yeah.
And October 2018.
Do you remember the date in October? I can't remember that.
No, I do not.
Like 23rd
October 22nd.
Okay. But here's the cool thing, the little story with that as well, too. I'll kind of take a little bit further there. So Junior introduced me to the Gorillaz, and I don't want to say the Gorillaz. Okay, so he always laughs at me. It's like the Van Halen, right? You can make sure you say these names right. But anyway, and actually Carlo Santin saying as well, too. He learned about Gorillaz from us, so he really enjoys them. Fart I Killed Noobs loves Gorillaz as well, too. So very, very cool. But so I got into them right away, and I'm old school. I look at some of the tunes as the as much as I like old school Van Halen. I like the David Lee Roth era of Van Halen, and I was totally into the Clint Eastwoods. The Feel Good Inc. of course is kind of the gateway for me to Gorillaz. That's the song I really, really like. Oh yeah. And then when Humans come out, the shirt that you're wearing right now. I didn't really like it. I remember I was saying, because you remember it was coming out. When we bought the tickets for the concert, we got the digital download and all that kind of stuff, and I was kind of like, oh man, it's like, but you have to be a diehard fan of the band to appreciate.
I liked it. I liked it a lot, honestly.
I know.
And then all I had to do was get you to get the digital copy, put it on the iPod, and everywhere we'd go, I just say no, put on Humans. Every single time we were in the car going on the road somewhere, we just had to play through the entire record. And I remember how you said, "Oh yeah, I'm starting." Some of the songs are actually okay.
I was starting to because at first I was like, no, but and I think you had to be a diehard fan, like just like with Van Halen and the other bands as well too. If you come in on a certain song, and that song just wows you, and then you're expecting that wow movement from every other song, you're probably going to be disappointed until you listen to the whole band's catalogs and really get to discover them. So like you said, so you're forcing me to listen to this stuff, and at first it was almost like I wanted to listen to anything but that record. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that song's not too bad. Okay, that song's not too bad. And next thing you know, in about a month's time of driving in the car, I didn't fast forward songs. I didn't, it's almost like, oh man, the record's done already? Because I was...
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I remember, I know a few of your favorites from Gorillaz, so like on the Plastic Beach album, I would assume Stylo.
Love that. That's a great driving song.
What is it called? Rhinestone Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both from the Plastic Beach album, I'm pretty sure.
And live, remember the subwoofers
Oh,
just
dude,
kicking
that
on
was
that?
insane.
I would just love to be the musician on stage, whether you're the guitar player or the bass player, Jeff or Shea on bass, and just feeling that stage thunder with those subwoofers that they had. That was really cool. But yeah, those were the good songs. And then, of course, with the new record. So I'll tell people a little kind of a fun story. So Junior became friends with Jeff and the guitar player in Gorillaz, and also Shea.
That was awesome. I remember how they recognized me on a post I drew. Shoulder.
Kind of a bust, like a head and shoulders.
Basically shoulder up drawings of Jeff and Shea next to each other. They both liked the post. Shea followed me, the bass player, and we had a long talk and saying like how nice he was just doing all that, and he's saying how, because I called him I told him he was the best and all, and he says no, you're probably even greater and all that. So he was just being really nice, and it was awesome. So we got to talk and connect and all that. So it was pretty awesome.
So from there, he become friends with Jeff, the guitar player, like quite close. And we Junior got an Eastwood Airline, was it 59 3P? Really
it's
nice.
It's behind you, actually.
I can see if I can show people. Some people have seen this already. I'll show them again real quick. And he got this guitar because he was, basically like me with Eddie Van Halen being my guitar hero. We all want the Wolfgangs. We all want the Super Strats and all that kind of stuff. Junior wanted this guitar because he saw his guitar hero play. I'll grab it here real quick. So this guy here, that's Junior's. So tell him about, seeing Jeff Wooten play that guitar.
Well, yeah, I don't know really much to say about it, but I saw Malta, and I'm gonna give you my actual first opinion on it. When I saw that, I saw like some of the first times I ever saw that guitar was during the first Demon Days festival that they did.
That was crazy.
I looked at it because they got like a really cool camera shot of him playing it, and him like jumping. I'm like, how are you supposed to play that with all the knobs in front? That looks terrible. And after a few months or so, I was like, wow, that's an amazing guitar. So I waited, and my dad finally purchased one. And yeah, honestly, it's an amazing guitar, and I don't know where I'd be without it right now. So that's pretty awesome.
That was one of your Christmas gifts a couple years ago, wasn't it?
2017.
Yeah. So when we ordered the guitar, we also ordered an extra pick guard, and then we had the record from
Humans.
It was Humans, yeah. So we took the cover of the Humans record and the pick guard, and we shipped it over to England to the Gorillaz management, and it went right to their management, their label and everything, and they received it. We knew they got it. But, the band was just taking off on the road, and they do a massive, massive tour. It's probably about a year and a half long. It's such a big tour that they go from tour, just like the old days of Van Halen. They're on the road supporting that record for 16 months, whatever. And by the time they're done the tour, they've got a new record ready to go again. It's just insane. So it got lost in translation. It could still be sitting in management. It could be wherever. We don't know where it is. We're probably never.
We sent that actually in December of 2017, and we still haven't received it. So
we're not going to get it back.
Yeah.
But I think in the grand scheme of things, you did better. And I'm not gonna lie. When I went to that show with you, the concert, both of them, I became a huge fan. Overnight. And that's something I've said a few times on the show. Even Junior, when you're not on the show, I've said this to some of my guests that if someone invites you out on a Friday night, hey, I got an extra couple tickets for so and so. Maybe it's a country artist, maybe it's a rap artist or whatever. I think Brian Cote won't go see him if it's a rap artist, but that's just a private joke. He doesn't like rap. But if someone invites you to a concert, they got some free tickets. Take them up on it. Never say no, because you never know what you're gonna get from the event like that. I've been to several things now because of you and become instant fans. And we're gonna jump over to some Smashing Pumpkins in a moment as well too. And even though you didn't introduce me to Smashing Pumpkins, it's kind of your fascination with a few things that got me deeper into the music. And man, oh man, do you ever become a bigger fan when you go to a concert, even if it's one of your first times seeing that artist? So long story short, Jeff Wooten, the guitar player, felt kind of bad that, this stuff is lost in translation. A pick guard, it's probably $40 for this pick guard, the record, $20 for the record, and plus, kind of bummed out the young fan like Junior, 12 at the time, 11 and a half, 12 years old at the time, invested this money and his stuff is lost. So he made good for us. He hooked up, and we didn't even ask to make good, but he hooked Junior and I up with backstage passes, and tickets and everything at Toronto. So talk about that event first. So we're sitting there, whatever. We weren't sure what was going to happen. And actually, when we got there, remember, our only contact with them was Instagram. So go ahead and kind of share that story a little bit.
That was a nightmare. We drove quite far to Toronto. Wouldn't say so far, but it was easily, I don't know how long.
Almost 2.5 hours. It's almost 3 hours if you want to say with parking and everything.
Yeah, but we drove there and we went to the, I don't know what you'd call it, the place where you get the tickets from.
Well, kind of like the will call box office.
Yeah, the box office there.
Because we already bought tickets.
And then we talked, gave him all the stuff that we could, and Eric Broadbent, 2 tickets, nothing there. And then the only way we're able to contact him is through Instagram. So I go to Instagram, he's offline. I'm like,
and you were really thinking this was the end.
And it's about to start in half an hour.
Let me interrupt you just for a quick second to make matters worse. We had tickets. We had decent lower bowl tickets. But when we heard later on Jeff was hooking us up with passes and stuff like that, we figured, you know what? These tickets are going to go to waste. So we resold them through Ticketmaster. So if we would have had those original tickets as a backup, we would have been fine. But why waste about $300 in tickets, right?
Yeah.
So we sold them. So now we're traveling to the venue with no tickets. Okay, continue.
And then, we tried contacting Shea, nothing. Jeff went online. Miracle. And then he's like, so sorry, hold on. And I'm pretty sure he brought down the tour manager to give us the tickets. He's calling out our names, and we got the tickets. And then he says, did you get the yellow badges? And I'm like, the little
wristbands or whatever.
And we're like, no, what? And he's like, oh, he was supposed to give you them too. And then and then someone else, or probably actually, no, the tickets arrived at the box office, and the tour manager came and gave us the
passes. You're like the wristbands, yeah.
And so that was cool. And then all that happened. And he said, see you after the show and all that. What was it? What was the band? What was the band that played with them?
Oh, they were really good. No, I'm thinking of the band that played with Smashing Pumpkins, that other Canadian band. I forget who played with them. I totally forget.
I forget their name.
Yeah, so don't worry about it for now. We'll just keep going.
Okay, yeah. Well, I forget their name.
They were good. So we went into the small room, which we thought at this point. So they bring us down. We're sitting there as a group of maybe 30 people at the most, and they were going to bring us into the small room. And we got to the small room. We're thinking, okay, this is all we get. And that was probably like if you paid the VIP, you got into this other room, right?
Yeah. So it was kind of cool because after the show, Shea was walking through the door, and you pointed over, hey, look at Shea, and I'm like, dude, and it was actually really awesome too. Like, they were actually treating me like I was a part of their family. Because when I went to go talk to Shea, he calls me his little brother, and he gives me a hug, and I'm like, whoa.
I know you're
that
hero.
is so
hero.
Cool. And it was actually amazing too, because after I talked a lot to him about bass. Oh yeah, to answer Bobby's question in the chat, if I'm more of a bass player, guitar player, I'm more of a guitar player.
I was going to ask you that. Mom sent me that question as well too.
Yeah.
I think your first instrument, I want to share a really funny story. And you may remember this, you may not, because you were so young. You were just, I don't want to embarrass you, but you were in diapers. That's how young you were.
Yeah.
He started off as a drummer. And we had this Fisher Price table.
No.
Yes, this is the best story ever. We had this Fisher Price kind of table. I guess people use it to play Legos on, or like maybe if kids want to have like a little picnic on it. It's like 3 feet wide, square, whatever, and big legs, about this big, round plastic legs on them. And Junior flipped over the table upside down, and there were some dolls in the house, and Barbie dolls from people to come over and stuff like that. And he would rip the legs off. And so we had all these torsos of Barbie dolls missing legs, and he was using legs as drumsticks, tick, 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 like that. And Mom and I are looking at you as you're doing this, and you had rhythm, really, really good rhythm. So you were a drummer first, and we bought you about a 5-piece drum kit. We had a nice little kit for you, and I think you did really, really well in that. And then I think your big movement was keyboard, and I still think you do really well on keyboard too.
Yeah, that was awesome. But to continue the story with
Shea and Jeff now?
Yeah, and all that. We were waiting, and Jeff, you can automatically recognize that it was Jeff because he has got the mohawk, and he's got the green Adidas jumpsuit, and he's like, hey, what's happening? And then he gives me a hug too, And it was awesome because Dad's talking to somebody else, and I'm like sitting there like, Dad, Dad, and I'm like patting him like on the back, and I'm like, Dad, look who's here, and you're still not answering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn around and there's Jeff, and it was awesome. And as we got to talk, and then he brought me, you, and along with a few others to the actual like party room where every other band member was.
Remember the one guy's actually asking us, he's like, how'd you guys, one of the first guys that saw us earlier is like, how'd you get back here? And we're like, well, that guy there. And I mean, this was just almost as crazy. I'm surprised they let you back there because, I mean, everything was PG. And I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it wasn't like
lots, smoking and alcohol.
Yeah, it wasn't like a Kiss concert or a Van Halen concert back in 1982, but it was pretty crazy. People jumping on couches and dancing on couches and dancing on coffee tables. And oh my Lord, But
I was like, one of the people from like the kind of like the choir and the band came up and hugged me like kisses and like.
Yeah, we don't know these people from anything, right?
Yeah. But it was a really awesome experience because I got to talk to everybody, and Shay was telling the drummer as I was getting, I don't know his name, sadly, but I do know his Instagram. The drummer's Instagram name is Backpack Boy.
A great drummer too.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he was telling him, Shay was telling the drummer that I was his brother basically. So that was pretty funny and cool. And,
great respect for you.
That was an amazing experience.
Yeah,
honestly.
Great respect from these guys. And I remember speaking to them after, like, I mean, you made me Dad of the Year. I was saying that to both Jeff and Shay and all the guys. Like, it was very, very cool. And I'm just sitting there taking all this in. First of all, I had a good time too. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I wasn't fanboying meeting these guys as well too. And Shay, the bass player, I was actually going to have him on the show. This goes back right around that same time, but he came like down deathly sick with the flu. Remember, he was actually getting. We were scheduled to go live that day. I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday, and he was literally throwing up off camera, and he just said, I can't do it. I'm trying everything I can to get on camera, and I just can't do it. I'm like, no, dude. He got really, really sick, but really, really good musicians. Damon Albarn, who leads that band, and obviously from Blur and other bands as well, too. He surrounds himself with great musical talent, and each one of those musicians, from the guitar player to the bass player to the keyboard player, drummers, all the background singers, as you talked about, guest artists, they're all phenomenal people. So we had a really, really great time. And later on, too, as we kind of go a little further, I'm trying to keep an eye on the time here, but we went and saw Smashing Pumpkins, and you got to be friends with Jeff Schroeder, and of course, I'm now friends with him as well, too. Jeff's been with him for quite some time, and we went down to London. That's where we saw them. And you got to do a rig rundown, which was very, very cool. So Junior got to conduct an interview on stage. We got Billy Corgan's rig right here, and we got Jeff's rig over here. And I mean, you were literally on the stage, and they're taking you through. Basically, Drew, the guitar tech, who's worked with Slipknot. We'll talk about them in a little bit as well too. And he's worked with Lindsey Buckingham. He's worked with just about everybody. But you're interviewing them. Tell us what that experience was like. First of all, I know you're nervous, but I think you handled.
Dude, I was like shaking. Especially we actually went up on the stage just to get a close up of some of Mr. Schroeder's rig.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, honestly, being on that stage was like. Obviously, I wasn't, obviously you weren't, performing up there, but it almost felt like, since like all the rumbling of people like doing like the tests on like the drums and stuff, I felt like, I was like, I had to like take a minute just to like look around and stuff and like how big like the area was.
I know it was massive. It kind of felt like you were there, and you asked really good questions, and I think they here again too. Everywhere we've gone with these artists, they've really treated you with respect, and that just makes me like them that much more too as a dad. So that was cool.
It was just so crazy, because there's a lot of negativity everywhere.
Yeah.
And just to see how these people were treating me like that, they just know me as a complete stranger, and I'm like, is it for real? It's like, it was amazing too. Like I was like, it was so awesome to actually be able to connect with some people and talk to them and all that. It was amazing.
Here's two questions. Mom is funneling them to us. Brian Cote wants to know, does Junior like his Helix more than a tube amp? There's no wrong answer. There's no yes or
There's
no.
no wrong answer, and
Nope.
the answer is I love the Helix more than 2-band, like 100%. It's amazing.
Nice. And you have a nice solid state amp that you do run yours into. You have the Boss Katana,
Yeah,
which is a great sounding amp.
it might be a bit of a smaller amp, but it's like booming. It's
Yeah, for a small room you've got. I mean, you actually we took it to a gig, didn't you? You used that at the school.
I played that at a school. Yeah, I played that for an art auction at my local school.
That was your first
it was
professional.
Nervous. It was no one was really paying attention, but people heard it.
No, they were paying attention. They were. You
It was cool though. It was cool.
I know you were nervous.
Do you want to get into talking about some of the well after this question?
Yep, I will. There's one other question. Garry Tholender. Garry Tholender, so Bane rocks. Have you played Dad's new Les Paul yet? If so, is it as awesome as he says?
Yes, actually, yes, it is. The only thing, in my personal opinion, that I don't like about the Les Paul, and it's nothing in my, people might have their other opinion. It's just that I find it a bit to be too heavy. I like more lighter guitars sometimes because when I'm playing with like a strap, on.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say that in 2 words because I'll get made fun of. But.
You got my sense of humor. Actually, I got my sense of humor from you, but I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep those 2 words. Keep them separated by a little pause.
Yep.
Strap. Pause. Talk about the weather. On. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
But if I find it, if I wear, if I'm playing standing, I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah.
I find it to like hurt my neck a bit.
Yep.
So
that's true. That's a good point. And you know what? Really, that's not saying anything bad about the instrument itself. It's just that's your preference. And just like we were talking to our friend Mark at the music store the other day, he was saying he wants a guitar as heavy as he can get it. So some people like
he's like the opposite of some people. Like that's exactly his words. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, people
all
can have
preference,
their opinions,
right?
not.
Yeah. That's right, and that's what makes things. There's no real right or wrong answer. Like, do you like digital? Do you like analog? Do you like this or whatever? Do you like Van Halen? Do you like Gorillaz? It's like, and then if you don't like it, just sometimes just say like you gave a good reason. Someone asked you a question, and you had a very valid reason for it. But what I don't like is when someone says, "Well, I don't like it," whatever. And okay, well, but why? Well, because isn't an answer. Well, because you don't like this politician. Well, why? What do they stand for? What's their platform? And if you hear them out, okay, I can, I may disagree with you on this, but I hear your point, and that's a good valid reason. So as long as there's always an explanation, I mean, there's no real wrong answers. Oh, this is cool. Scott says we need to see a Crossroads jam of senior versus junior. And junior will kick my butt. There's no doubt about that. And you know what we're going to do here? We won't actually do any jamming here, but Junior's going to be jumping off in a couple minutes, and I wanted to talk a little further about his music, and then the remainder part of the program, I'm going to do some jamming with that Les Paul. But Junior's, I kind of tease him about this because he drops records like old school Van Halen. It's almost like every...
Did.
Van Halen did. Not now, but dropping records all the time. It's so nice for fans getting these records all the time. And, Junior's like, okay, I dropped another record, Dad. I'm like, holy cow, didn't you just release one last month? But that's cool. It's kind of teasing him a little bit, but at the same time, I know I'm kind of pushing him to do more.
Sorry to pause you there, but we got a super chat.
Oh, we did? Where I didn't see that. Who's that from? Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
My chat is way behind. Okay, I see it. From Dean, I think, right? Okay, from Dean Bibb, $3.99. Thank you so much, Dean. I appreciate that. Thank you so very, very much.
It's amazing.
And you know what? You get that tonight because you're the guest. All right, it's for you tonight. Oh, Jason Seditis is here as well too. He says, "Hey, Eric and Eric Jr. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back for a quick second and go backwards here, and then we're gonna talk about your music because I know I've missed a bunch of people." Jason got here just for the strap pause on comment. Perfect. We'll use that to. Mom's using voice to text right now, and you should see what's coming through on my end of the other thing. And she's basically.
No, I want to see some of that.
Oh, it's hilarious! It's hilarious. I know she's using voice to text because when it comes through this way, it's worse than mine.
Yeah.
There you go. Steven says, "Agree. Death match, Dad versus son. We'll do that soon." Let me see. Johnny Lee loves heavy guitars. That's what Andrew's saying. So there you go. Some people like it. Charles Green is here. Paul Theriault is here. I wish I had you experiences and opportunities at your age. You're going to be a legend, dude. And Johnny was saying nice things about you today, as I was telling you about too.
That was really nice of him to say that. And thank you for the kind words in the chat too. That's amazing.
Nice. Headstock Harem. I have the Katana 50. Very nice for practice or small gigs. And I mentioned Scott's comment. Terry Himes sounds like a very lucky young man. What a way to start into music at a young age. Good going, Mom and Dad. Thank you, Terry. That's very, very kind of you. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody else. So let me go back a little further. Thomas Maynard is here as well too. So you got a new record out. So talk about this band Stars, okay, and tell us a little bit about that. I'm going to play a couple riffs, and one of them is one of the ones I thought, my God, remember I begged you to let me play on this. So if we do a remake.
Oh
of it
yeah,
later?
yeah. So you're gonna play the 3?
Yeah, I'll play 3 songs. Tell us about who Stars is
Okay.
and what the band is about, and then how you got into the recording process.
A funny story, actually. It was not called Stars at first. So I was playing a game with a friend of mine named Chase. It was a game called Murder Miners, just like some sort of zombies, like, you know, like it was like Halo, like Minecraft and Halo mix, right? And then we were just getting really bored, and it was like 1 a.m, and I was like, hey, can you teach me how to make some music? And I'm like, sure. So I teach him, and then we're like, okay, we want to release some of this stuff. We didn't think of a name at the time.
Right.
So we just called our band No Name. It was literally just yellow with black text just saying No Name.
Right.
You know, we released an album that night called Scraps. Like, okay, listen to me. We didn't just create them all. There were some really good ones that, like,
kind of in the works for a long time, kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
they were already made.
Yeah.
All that. They were really. It was the album's free because it's not really worth anything. But it was called No Name, and then just people decided to contribute, and we called it Stars because I had an old band that just like died instantly called Stargazers.
Okay.
And now I just thought, hey, why don't we just kind of revive that, call it Stars with a 4 instead of an A.
Right. And
that's what the band became. Back in September 2018. We just released one album every month with 10 tracks, and then up to January, which was the last album before the album that just came out last month. That's when we stopped for a while just to give up, and now there's a couple members came and gone.
That typical band. It's pretty awesome because I've only released 2 records since 2005. Since 2005.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. We're gonna play 3 cuts, just some samples here. Now keep in mind too, when Junior's mentioning he's got a lot of these records. Now these songs are short. Yeah. And the albums are short, but also for our Van Halen fans, think back to Diver Down. That record is like about 22 minutes long. That's Van Halen. So we'll cut you some slack. Okay, if Van Halen's releasing 22-minute, maybe 27, maybe. I'm not even sure. I think it's around 25 minutes. I should know the answer. But to have a record, I'm just proud of you for getting the stuff out there. And there's one song I'll play in a minute that I think would even make Joe Satriani proud. And I can picture Paul Theriault, one of our friends. He would probably like this as well, too, because he's a Joe Satriani nut. He plays the stuff very, very well. So I'm going to play three little snippets. And we have a link down below as well, too, to the YouTube channel where some of this music is featured. We're trying to promote it to get to iTunes tonight where you can purchase it. And I mean, as technological savvy as we are, we just couldn't actually find the link to get to it on iTunes. But we'll try to share that with you later. We'll maybe pin it in the comment.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's good.
Some of the people like more mobile, for some of the mobile users, the album that just came out, which my dad will be playing. This album is the greatest hits. It's called Greatest Hits, but it's not like we're not trying to act like we're popular. This is like the ones that everyone loves.
Yeah.
This is more like our me and my friend's personal favorites and my dad's personal favorites, and we just put 10 tracks into one full length album, 17. But a
lot of the stuff's composed, like you do a lot of composing on Fruity Loops and things like that.
Sorry, I had a brain fart there.
That's okay.
The album is available on Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music, or iTunes.
Nice.
Whichever one will work.
Yep.
But there is a difference. iTunes, you have to pay $10. It wasn't up to us. They just made it every track 99 cents.
Right,
so
10 songs. There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And on Apple Music is, for some people, more of the people in here who actually have it, if anyone has it.
Then you can listen to it for free and keep it for free. You
get to get it for free. So
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to grab 3 tracks to play a little bit of it, and just some samples of each one. And I'm going to save the one I like the best for last. You know which one I like. Which one do you want me to start with?
Heading Out.
Heading Out? Okay, see if I can find... Okay, there we go. Here we go. Give this a bit of... This is playing off of YouTube, so we'll see how this goes here. Playing through my other computer, so hopefully this will play all right. I'll play a few seconds of this one. It's just queuing up here.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hot in here, it's even making the computers run slow. Okay, laptop is on. You can hear the bass influence, and obviously being one of your specialties is keyboard. So those two have really gelled nice together. What's the next one you want me to play?
Digital Heavy Rock.
Okay, here we go.
This one has a bit of a story behind it too. I'll tell you that later.
I could totally jam over this one as well.
Sounds really MIDI, but it's good.
Yeah. So tell us the story on that one. I'll go into the best for last.
So this might, I don't know, this could be taken the wrong way. But I was in the beginning, I was thinking, there's like, I watched an episode of South Park, right?
Right.
And they talked about like the Christian band, like becoming a Christian band, and then they could all, they made fun of how some, not saying all Christian bands would like, they'd be like, Jesus, yeah, and then they just go straight to metal, right?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking we'd call this song, computerized Christian rock, and then I said, no, this is actually a good song, and I called it heavy rock, and then because it was basically just like it's not even that heavy, and then I called it digital heavy rock because the company I was working with to get this album released was like legal issues,
You
Apple
have to change the name. I got you.
Yeah, change the title's name, so I said digital heavy rock. Boom, done.
Yeah, added an extra thing.
Yeah.
There's 2 funny comments here as well too. They're both from one's a funny comment, one's a serious comment from Brad Miller. And I didn't get a chance to say hi to him earlier. I think I missed his name. Good friend. He said he was just jamming to that a moment ago, so that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And he also said earlier, this is really funny. Mom sent us this through chat. She says, Brad Miller says, my wife walks in and asks, who is the kid? And I said, Eric Jr., and she says, where's his mustache? And you can, it's hard to see it, but the boy has a mustache, and he's going to have one.
You have to look really close. I'm not going to touch the camera, but if I brought my camera a bit closer, you'd actually be able to see it.
Yeah, it's there for sure. So that's absolutely hilarious. I love it for sure. Andrew Bonica says, makes me want to get out my NES, which I still have. Just finally brought myself into modern times and got a Switch. Very cool. And Butterfly and Ladybug have your linkage down below as well too. So the next song we're going to show, this is one I like a lot, and guys that are guys and girls that are listening and watching right now that are guitar players, picture in your mind Joe Satriani.
Do you want to play the full song?
Okay, all right, we got your permission.
Yeah,
all right.
Obviously, yeah, you're my dad, so.
All right, well, no, it's your music.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make. I mean, I gotta ask your permission. I just can't play music without your permission. So,
yeah, we're good.
So I picture Joe Satriani in this, and as much as I want to contribute to this, I want to. When I say contribute to it, I would be honored to play it. And even if I can't, that's cool too, and I respect that decision. But this song was so cool to me that I thought, okay, if I wrote this song, I would be very, very proud. So in other words, I'm very, very proud of you on this one. So let's play this one here. And before I play it, what inspired you? It's called Based Out, in this case completely based out for legal reasons, so you could get it into iTunes and stuff like that. what was your concept writing this song? What came to you, and how does it speak to you?
I don't know. Okay, so there's a preset that I have in FL Studio for like different bass sounds. So there's this one that I was using, this one patch I was using called Ibanez. There's an actual patch for Ibanez bass in there. And the bass in this song is completely fake. Like there's no, it's not a real instrument. A lot of the songs that I've released now aren't real instruments. There's actually a few that's coming out soon that are real instruments. So that's pretty cool. And I just wanted to make this I wanted to make this simple. And I think I made it as simple as it needs to be. Drums, 3 layers of bass, and electric piano.
And it sounds very, very good. And there's a question we can kind of direct as well too. Fred Siegel says, so Eric Jr., please explain Fruity Loops keys played directly, or what's the setup? So in a lot of cases, you're using digital loops, and I
wouldn't say digital loops for only, not the FL Studio songs.
No, but also you're using some in there, plus you're actually contributing with a MIDI keyboard as well too. Oh, yeah. A lot of that. So it's kind of a combination of modern tech, and in the very, very near future, now that especially that you're getting much better on guitar, we're going to look at getting an electronic drum kit here as well too, so you can actually perform, and track all that stuff as well too, and
make it sound a bit more realistic.
That's right. And I'm just getting that question refunneled to me from Mom, so we've answered that question. Okay, so let's check out Completely Based Out, and
let's play the full track.
Let's play the full track.
This is a full track for you guys.
All right, and I'm going to mute my microphone so we get rid of some of that hiss. And again, you tell me if I'm wrong if you hear Joe Satriani, and I think Joe Satriani would listen to this and say, "That's kind of cool. I dig the vibe." Here goes. There you go, an EVH and Gear TV World exclusive. That's pretty awesome, dude. Oh, there's another one.
And there's another one.
That's a good one, too. We'll play a second of this. A fourth song. pretty darn awesome. I love that.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it as well too. And fans in the chat or our friends as well too are digging it. That's very cool. I'm very proud of you.
You know, some ways, obviously, I wouldn't say it's like professional studio quality, but I would assume that some people could consider it that. But like, this shows that you don't need a giant studio with flashy LED lights and cool little private rooms to sing, like basically every rap person ever, which I don't like rap at all.
What are you talking about? You like rap?
Barely.
Okay.
But like some rappers that are, actually talented, not like just
Yeah. I actually let's as we wrap up your segment here, I want to just mention, we'll talk about some rap, and I don't know if this would be rap, it may be R&B, pop, whatever, but a few artists that you've turned me on to, like Childish Gambino. No, he isn't rap. What would he felt?
Not much anymore. I mean, there is a couple artists that I've introduced you to if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'll mention two right now, and you can say how you discovered them, and I actually like them a lot. And it feels really, really good to pay it forward with artists. I know there's been many people that come to our shows here. I've had different guests on that. Some guests I just don't know. They're not it's not something they follow every day. I've had a few others say like, oh, I didn't know this band, because now you've had them on the show. I got to check them out and I like them. Two bands or artists, we'll say artists, they have, backup bands, but Billie Eilish, who I turned mom on to the other day. I'm playing it through Apple Music in the car. And I was like, I want to tell you about this new band. At the time, she's like, I want to listen to my regulars. And I played it for her, and she enjoyed it greatly. As a matter of fact, she was cranking it. So Billie Eilish, and then Oliver Tree, another artist.
Oliver Tree, man.
Tell us about both these artists and
right.
what people can expect.
For some people who don't know who Billie Eilish is, very, very, actually very young artist, surprisingly, 17-year-old a girl who works with her brother Phineas. So she does more of the singing, he does the producing, but she's done a couple albums, and I discovered her through internet basically, and obviously through the internet, but more or less Instagram and stuff, because a lot of my friends were talking about it, and I'm like, just go away, right? I at first I was like, this is not my stuff. I listened to her though, because then that's at the time when I first just got, Apple Music, and then I said, Dad, you gotta check out this artist I like a lot, and it was pretty cool, and that's for Billie Eilish. But then Oliver Tree, this guy. Wow. Okay, so he's got a pretty interesting story behind him too. Like he stole his parents' credit card, scootered all the way down to the airport and got tickets across the country. So he's a professional scooterer, I guess, and he decided to get into the music game younger, and he's open for DJ artists like Skrillex and that. And he's famous for his bowl cut and his baggy jeans, and
very visual guy, isn't he?
What?
Very visual, colorful.
Yeah,
he's
got like a pink, purple, yellowish jacket, and styling, childish red sunglasses, and he just scooters around, does a lot of music, and I discovered him more or less through the comedy game, because he used to be on Vine. And, he used to do those sketches like, my name's Turbo. I go to dance raves, hit me up. He does all those little. Yeah, he does all those little videos.
That's a good impression, by the way.
He got discovered through music, and discovered him through the song Hurt. And then I downloaded a lot of his music, showed Dad, and, he liked the scooterer, has Lady Bigfoot in the chat. I don't know. Can't just. Professional scooter dude, if you want to be like that. But yeah, so.
Well, the cool thing about both of these artists, the stubborn person in me would be like, I'm not going to listen to this. I won't listen to it. But what spoke to me was not the artist, was the songwriting. Both Billie Eilish and Oliver Tree would be something I would never listen to in a million years. But I also said that about Gorillaz as well, too, and a lot of other bands. And the songwriting is great. Now, whether they're the most talented musicians in the world, I don't know. I don't know where their musical talent lies. I know they surround themselves with good people. I'm sure more than likely they're probably very brilliant musicians because, there has to be communication amongst the members of the groups, of the songwriters and the musicians. But the songwriting speaks for itself. And that's why you can't escape some of this music. So again, long story short, if there's ever any good advice I can offer of the show is try not to be as closed-minded as I've been my whole life. And a lot of people are like that with music. You got to get in your comfort zone, get out of your comfort zone. And especially if you're a musician, listening to a lot of these other artists, even if it's not a guitar-based band, it's going to give you some vibe and some mojo to put into your music. And I'm very thankful. I've always wanted to do a video. I've told you about this before. I've got a list of videos like this I want to do on the channel. It's I go through this list all the time. It's okay, can I scratch them off? And no, I'm not going to do that video now. But I've always wanted to do a video about some of the inspiration that you've given me for both, fun YouTubers. I've discovered a lot of people, thanks to you, Jared Dines. I would have never probably discovered, and we got to spend time with him in California. We almost kidnapped him at NAMM. He was in our same hotel room. He woke you up out of bed. That
was awesome.
The Stevie T, Davey 504. So all these PewDiePie, all these people, Pyrocynical. I've discovered a lot of cool YouTubers thanks to you, and a lot of their kind of mojo. It's inspired me to do what I do on our shows as well too. The bands that you listen to have inspired me. So it's very cool to kind of live through youth as well too, I appreciate that a lot. So it's very, very cool. But these musicians, the songwriting comes through in spades. You can't hide, you can have a best production in the world and have a crappy song, but you can have crappy production and have a good song, and it'll still shine through, right? So it's awesome. I really appreciate all the cool music that you've introduced me to. And I know there's more as well too. There's been a couple other bands. I won't mention their name because I don't want to slam the bands. There's been a couple other artists. I don't like everything that you send my way. Just like, you don't like a lot of stuff I send your way as well too. I'll say, this is so-and-so. You check this out. And you're like, There's been a couple other pop artists that made one or two, and I didn't really like them.
I want to just say this right now. I'm going to get this out of my head because, as you said, there's some bands I don't, really like. I don't want you guys to hurt me at all.
Uh-oh.
But I don't really like Van Halen a lot.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy. So
yeah, I don't...
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So this video is going to get deleted. No, I'm just kidding. That's okay. You know what? It's all good, man. You grew up... Actually, you were a Joe Satriani guy long before you were Van Halen. When Junior was about whatever age you were, when you go in those little exerciser things, whatever, you put all your little toys around, and you hop around this thing as you're learning to walk and stuff like that. Yep. It was Joe. Your one of your first words was JoJo. Before you were an Eddie Van Halen fan, you called Joe Satriani JoJo, and you just sit there and watch that video and just
on loop every day.
Yeah,
there's little live footage that Dad had, and I was like, can I watch JoJo?
Yep, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Another band that, of course, I knew about, and this will be probably the last segment, and I was going to wrap up with you at 9:30, but we'll wrap up here with you here in just a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to take out the last 25 minutes, whatever, and do a couple jams with the Les Paul, which I'm wearing. But a band that you made me really, really appreciate, again, and this goes back to, I don't want to use the word real musicians, because as much as we all think these people that paint by number and do this other kind of stuff are not musicians, they are musicians because they're thinking of the song. And I just want to admit that even, as much as they don't play a guitar or they don't do this or they don't do that, they're a musician because they're creating. But this is a group of musicians that play guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, percussion, and Slipknot. You made me really, really, love Slipknot. Now, some of it's just too much.
That's a good band.
Yeah, no, see, some of it's too much for me. Some of it's too heavy for me. But I like the stuff where Corey Taylor is basically, speaking, right? It's basically like a spoken rap kind of, and I hate to use the word rap, but kind of a spoken rapping type of a thing, and then into screamo, and then into beautiful melodies. I
can go through all of that. I know you're not into the
Yeah.
But I find it cool. A lot of the guitar is pretty cool. But you got a question in the chat from Sonia.
Yeah, Mom's following that as well too. Go ahead. She's asking, who is your favorite guitarist besides your dad? That's a good question.
Probably one of the either James Root or Mick Thompson from Slipknot.
Nice. Okay, no, you're a bit biased because you love Slipknot. Can
Yeah.
you name a few other guitar players? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean, try to think outside of Slipknot.
Yeah, of course.
You're surrounded by so many guitar players, out there, the bands that you listen to, like try a couple other ones maybe. Those are great answers, by the way, too, though.
Yeah. One thing I can say though, I've heard a lot about Oliver Tree's friend there, the
Okay.
guitarist in his band. He's actually quite good. I wouldn't say he's in my favorites, but I do want to mention that he's actually pretty nice and pretty well at playing guitar. Definitely
What about people
definitely a
like?
good person for playing chords and all that.
What about people like? I'm just gonna throw out some names like Slash or Steve Vai or Joe Satriani.
Steve Vai, you can't even compare him to a favorite guitarist. Like he's just a god. You can't just like you just can't. You can't really even compare him to anything like that. He's just amazing at what he does and all that.
Then
But
of course there's your Yngwie, and of course if we say anything bad about Yngwie, that's mom's. Mom will go into full blown attack mode if anyone says anything bad about her Yngwie.
yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. So
Yeah.
I'll just stay away from that. That's another topic.
We have to live with her, don't we? So we agree. We love him.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I do think.
That's good.
I do
that's,
think.
that's good answers. Very good answers.
I think James and Mick are probably either one of those people are probably my favorite guitarists. Especially because I met Mick at NAMM.
That was cool.
I was first in line, by the way. I want everyone to know that too. I was first in line, so there you go. I waited I stood there for 3 hours just waiting for him. So that was awesome.
Let's wrap up with that story. That was now. Who was the artist before Mick? That people were in the line for. Do you remember? Do you remember who it was?
No.
Phil Collin from Def Leppard was there, but it wasn't him. It might have been Chris Broderick, maybe. I forget.
Yeah.
But there's another artist that was.
Artists.
Artists, yeah. There's several, but there's one that was ahead of Mick, and so you got into this line, and then they there's always.
Well, no. There's a whole group of artists before him. They're all in the same little table.
Right, I know, but there was one particular artist though that was going to be there before Mick,
Yeah.
And so the line started for that person. And so what the security people told me, and we were very respectful of that's one thing I might say as a tip when you're at a big convention or one of these Comic-Cons or things like that. Be respectful of the bouncers and the security guys and girls, and win them over with kindness, and it will go a very, very long way. Even though we were there with EVH as as an artist for EVH gear, we had passes for that. We were also there with Line 6. We had all the credentials and all that kind of stuff. We're still just like anybody else in line, waiting to meet these people. And we were very, very nice. We're like, okay, sorry, we don't want to intrude on your space. We'll step back here with our cameras and all that kind of stuff. And you got in this line, and there was 100 people easily behind this line, and if they were you had to ask them behind you if they were to see Mick or this other person, and if it was for the other person, you were supposed to let them go, which you did. So everybody would butt in front
I backed up, and there's actually people who were there to see Mick, and they just went ahead of me anyways. I'm like,
oh,
what?
But the cool thing was you let these people go, and then all of a sudden, because that artist is now done, now in a couple minutes it's going to be Meet Mick event, and
Yeah.
you're the first person in line.
Yeah, so that was amazing.
And
I talked to this one dude in line who's right next to me, teenager, who has a friend who's a drummer dude and all that, and he was really nice, and it was pretty cool because you thought you would be really bored just standing there for 3 hours, but I actually had people to talk to.
It was cool.
So that was cool.
And I was living every moment of it as well too, because actually at the same time, in the opposite side of it was almost 10 miles away, but it wasn't. It was just across the courtyard over at the Yamaha, I think it was the Marriott. Harry Shearer, Derek Smalls from Spinal Tap was playing the 10-foot tall, 15-foot tall Ampeg Beast, right? And I was like, I wanted to be there so bad, but I was like, my son comes first. And then literally, as we're running, back to our hotel at night, bam, we crash into Derek Smalls. Remember that?
Yeah, that was a bruh moment. I'm not gonna do it, but it was a bruh moment.
Yeah. What was so funny is because I know you saw this part before. This will be the last part of the segment. I had Ian Thornley and Sean Tubbs on my show, and Ian Thornley's become a good friend of kind of the family. He's a gentleman. He's he's one of the world's greatest guitar players. There's somebody you should put on your radar for your favorite guitar players. Listen to him more, Junior, and just trust me, you'll thank me later. But one time I had Sean and Ian on the show, and we were using Google Hangout. So every time I would speak, when the person speaks, it goes to their camera. And Ian actually stops me mid-sentence and says, dude, every time the camera goes to your screen, all I can picture is Derek Smalls from Spinal Tap. And it become a long-running joke, and I get that all the time, as you know, right? People comment, it's like, ha, 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 I haven't heard that one in a long time. So the day that we met, Harry Shearer, or Derek, and I got to say this as well, too. When Harry Shearer is in character, he does not break character, just like Mrs. Smith. It's you will not get that person outside of character. So we met him. We've got a picture, and I sent it to Ian Thornley right away, and he just writes back, and he goes, dude, like this. It was like with like 9 million exclamation marks. He was so happy because he wanted to see that happen. And I was just hearing that from Ian Thornley was pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, a message in the chat.
What is it? I'm sorry, I missed it. You're better.
A question.
What is the question?
From Sonia. Eric Jr., have you ever listened to some of the older Frank Zappa albums, like Shut Up and Play Your Guitar?
Dude, yes.
Oh yeah, we actually have a record, right? We have a record of.
Yeah, that's one that Howie, our good friend Howie, gave us, and Howie is very good friends with Dweezil, and yeah.
Yeah, it was us. Yeah, so yeah, for sure.
Very cool. Yeah,
any other questions?
You definitely appreciate that music for sure. And James from Ottawa saying Mrs. Smith is awesome for sure. That was
yeah. She followed me on Instagram, so that was kind of funny. I said thank you for the follow with a few cat emojis, and she responded meow. So
that's one of the cool things I really like about some of the people we've had on the show here. Some of the artists that they which makes me love them even more. Like I like all these people. Like I see a couple of people mentioned Paul Gilbert. Gary Tholner mentioned Paul Gilbert. Rudy Sarzo taught you some bass tips. Remember after the show, like a lot of things.
Yeah, that was like.
People don't get to see this stuff after we go off the air. A lot of times we're hanging out for a while.
We met him at NAMM, didn't we?
We did. Rudy Sarzo was teaching Junior bass tips. So the show ended at 10:30 at night on a Friday night. And for the next half an hour, Rudy Sarzo was giving you bass lessons. I'm just like, this is like the coolest moment ever. I'm looking at you. I'm like the proudest dad in the world, And you had so many people you've talked to. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. But yeah, I remember I was going to go with that with the Mrs. Smith comment. So I had my itinerary planned about 2 weeks in advance for this interview, and it was weird because I was interviewing the person in my mindset. I was interviewing the person who plays Mrs. Smith.
Yeah. And
then I realized, no, I'm not interviewing the person who plays Mrs. Smith. I'm interviewing Mrs. Smith. So now I had to basically turn the interview into a mockumentary or whatever. Like it's almost like I'm interviewing like a character, right? And
cartoon character.
Yeah, and it was very, very weird. It's almost like, okay, if I'm going to interview Robert Downey Jr. or I'm interviewing Iron Man, right? It's going to be two different people. Same person, but they're two different people. And that was a tough one for me to do a full spin almost on a dime and do it. But I was able to do that, and it was a good learning experience for me for sure as well too. It's almost like trial by fire, and it was a fun episode, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, listen, Junior, I'm going to let you fly, and I'm going to carry out the last. We're going to wrap it up at 10:30 here, and I'm going to do a few jams here as well too. I'm going to play a song for your late grandma. You never got a chance to meet her, unfortunately.
Sadly, yeah.
I know she passed away before long before you were born. But today is July 5th. It was my mom's birthday, Shirley. She was born on this day, and sadly, one of those weird, crazy things. I'm not going to take it in a dark or sad way. She also passed away on her birthday, which is very, very sad. So I'm probably going to start off with a song for her, and once I get my helix set up as well here too. So maybe I'll do that in a second. I'll get that preset ready to go. And I think a lot of people had fun with you as well tonight too, kind of learning from youth.
It was actually really awesome being on here. So.
Yeah, I'm very happy to play your music for the first time, at least on this show. And you're a great guest and a big inspiration to me. You are. I know I tell you this, and I know you don't get a chance to hear it very often, but I'm gonna say it with a lot of witnesses right now. You're a big inspiration to me, and you're keeping that torch alive and passing it on, and you're bringing good music to a lot of people as well too. And I hope maybe some people watching today got to discover a couple other artists that you've suggested.
If I ever have kids like Eric Jr. or something like that, I'm definitely gonna I'm definitely gonna say, you know, don't listen to this new modern day rap stuff. It's no, just don't. You know what you have to do? I'm gonna buy you a guitar. Play this, learn it, master it. You know, you're gonna be just like your grandpa. You know, so that'd be pretty awesome just to have see my kid one day just like, you know.
And that'd be just like me. That's me watching you. I'm very, very proud. It's really funny too. This is where he schools me. We'll be doing some stuff, and he'll be like I think I'm dead right on a song. Whatever. He's like, no, Dad, that's wrong. Or you're
No, stop.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough to take that, you know, kind of criticism from a 13-year-old, but at the end of it, it's like he's right, and it makes me a better player as well too. And the music I'm listening to is making me appreciate a lot more music as well too. Thanks to you. So, rock. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you jump off of the call here. And before you hang up, I'll switch over to another screen here. But thank you so much for joining us, buddy. And I greatly appreciate it. Keep rocking with all your stuff and keep the tunes coming. And when's your next album dropping?
I don't know. Actually, I don't have an album in plan, but I do have a track or remake coming out the 14th. Another track that it's a heavy metal.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
like it.
A track coming on the 19th. And yeah, I'm just dropping some stuff that I've been wanting to drop for a while, so I'm dropping it all in the same month. So,
well, the cool thing is we have a lot of friends in the guitar community as well too, and I'm sure a lot of these people would love to collaborate with you and you maybe offer some advice or maybe offer some tracks with you as well too. So reach out to you for sure.
Speaker Box remake, June 14th.
July 14th.
Project B1, not June. Sorry, July 15th.
Okay.
Speaker Box remake, July 19th. Is Project B1, and July 25th of the 26th is Never Going Back. So
awesome.
Those are 3 tracks that I want you guys to go check out when they come out.
I'm really proud of you. Keep the music coming, keep the music alive, and thank you for the inspiration you give me and a lot of other people as well too, buddy.
Oh,
all right. Well, listen, you're upstairs right now where it is much hotter.
I'm sweating. Like I feel stuff dripping down in my neck area, and like it's really hot up here.
Oh, you know what? Okay, you get the honor tonight of ridiculing Quentin for being late. Okay, so Quentin James is late. That's become a new thing here. Now, he may have been here earlier. I've seen his name a couple of things back, but I think he's still late. Even if he was here the whole time, you get the honor of ridiculing. So you're the principal of the school now.
No.
Quentin James is late. You know how this goes. What are you going to say?
You're late. You're gonna get a purple slip next time you're late. Okay. Now be here early, and be here to be the first one to be the first one to say first in the group chat and the live chat and all that. So there you go. I really have nothing else to say now.
Okay, that sounds like you're at a Taco Bell drive-thru.
That's the point.
Okay, there you go. Quentin James, you're late. And basically, I would like a bean burrito sprout and a root beer float. There you go. All right, buddy. We'll let you fly, and we'll see you as soon as the show is done. I'm going to play a few songs and start with Grandma's song, Shirley, and we'll take into some heavy ones with some Les Paul play here, and we'll wrap up for 10:30. Thanks so much, my friend.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya. All right, thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun. Great to have Junior on the show, and he is a major, major inspiration to me here. I'm just going to close the program here. And it's a lot of fun. I certainly did, because we were bumping some guests tonight, accommodating some schedules with tours. I did not want to take the night off, even though I thought about it at the last minute because it is hotter than, all heck in here. But that's why I'm keeping the lights down a little dim. And we're going to play a song from my mom, which, like I just mentioned a moment ago, is her birthday today and also the day that she passed away. And she's one of 2 ladies that are very responsible for me playing guitar. She was obviously the first one. Encouraged me to play guitar and did everything she could to sacrifices that she did to make sure that I played guitar, and I continued with it. And of course, Nocturnal Butterfly here as well too, who is like my mom in so many ways, one of the most caring women on the planet. It has your back no matter what. And if it wasn't for those 2 ladies, I would not be playing guitar today. So we're going to jump over to another camera here in a second. And I want to appreciate everyone too as well too for being so kind to Junior. I know he's much older than he actually is. He's more mature than some people I know. He's just a brilliant little guy, a young man. And it was a pleasure to have him on the show here tonight. So let's jump over here to this screen if I can. All right, and we'll see if we get some tunes happening. Guitar Hack is here as well too, just jumping in. So I'm playing my new Les Paul, which I cannot put this guitar down. So we're just going to do a quick level check and see where we are here. And this is a song written for my mother, Shirley. And it's kind of a play on words. Shirley was her name, but the lyric will also say, surely you're an angel, like surely, S-U-R-E-L, surely you are an angel. So it's kind of a play on words as well, too. So take it as you will, but it's a nice song. So see what we got for a level check here, then we'll try to actually run through the song. And hopefully you're not hearing that fan too much in the background. I have a fan because it's hotter than heck in the studio here. Just waiting for the Windows 10 computer off to the side of my Mac, which is heating overload here. I should have a cooling fan on it too. Here we go, hopefully. Just a quick level check first. I think I got it. All right, this is for Shirley. Happy birthday, Mom. I hope you guys and girls like this one. I like to play this one a lot. It's very, very emotional. And yeah, let's have some fun with it. go. Happy birthday to a beautiful lady I miss greatly. So that's Shirley. Never too late asking, was that the PRS you traded for the Les Paul? That is correct. Yes, this is the new guitar that's made its way to me, and it's 51 years, almost 51 years waiting for a Les Paul, and I have it. I didn't know I wanted a Les Paul when I was a newborn baby, but I'm 51 years old this year, and I achieved my first Les Paul, and I tell you, the bug is real bad, and people like Guitar Hack and Brian Cote and just so many other people as well too know my pain or my pleasure or whatever you want to call it, because they're major fans of it as well too. Nice comments on Shirley there. Thank you, I appreciate that. Nice to share that with you today on this beautiful day, her birthday. And I don't like to look at it as the day that she passed away, but I do remember the day. She got very sick in the calm before the storm. I brought her pizza and everything on her birthday and had a nice supper with her, and later that evening found out she passed away. So that's what that is. So before I start getting too emotional, we'll walk on to something else. Let's since before I tune the guitar down, why don't we try playing a song called "Fly"? And this one is kind of taking you on that same, nice emotional roller coaster, but at the same time with some balls to it as well too. Pardon the term. Let's have some fun with this one here. I'll keep an eye on the time. I'll try not to run too late tonight. It's not as hot in here as I was anticipating with this fan that I have just behind the monitors, and Nocturnal Butterfly saying that no one can hear the fan, so that's good. So we'll keep that rolling. Here's a song called "Fly." This one has some nice arpeggiation in it with a harmonic tremolo. I like this tone a lot. Okay, here we go. Let's get the fly tone. You guys ready to fly? There goes. Oh, Brad Miller, Super Chat, $2 for All Out Angel Moms. Yes. Well said. Thank you, Brad. And the moms are the best. This is an ongoing thing I say a lot of times, and I'm like a broken record or stuck record, whatever the term is. I say this a lot. Someone might come to me and they think they might insult me by saying, "Hey, you're a mama's boy." I'm like, "Hey, you know what? You come back when you have an insult. I'll be here for you." Calling me a mama's boy is not an insult. I play guitar because of my mother. So... And my dad was pretty proud too in the end too, but I got to give Mom full credit. Here we go. We're going to fly away here.
This journey. inside my cover where no one else can see. The forces pull together, suspicious minds can be.
Fun song to play for sure. Jason Hidderly says, hi from the UK, just found your channel through helping me set up my Line 6 Helix. Thank you for joining us. And that's what I'm playing tonight. It's exclusively, that's literally exclusively all I play for amplification, or if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. What you hear on the show is exclusively Line 6 Helix, and it's changed my life. It's changed my life. I play more guitar now. This is not a fact. This is not a sales pitch. This is not a paid endorsement. I play more guitar than I've ever played in my life, thanks to a digital product. And, you know, it's kind of weird because there's more to it than just the product. And again, this is not a sales pitch. There's not an advertisement. There's no pop-ups here. At least there shouldn't be. Hopefully it's not an advertisement when this video goes live later on. It'll be very ironic that an advertisement pops up. But it's the company. It's the people behind. Andrew Bonica is one of them as well here too. It's a family here, and he just happens to work at Line 6. But it's a community, and it's really, really, really fun. Speaking of family and some of the staff of Line 6 as well too, I've got Mr. I don't even. It seems so weird saying this, but Joe Bentavania, the president of Yamaha Guitar Group, is literally on the show on Sunday. I'm kind of, I'm not going to fanboy out because I don't usually fanboy out on anybody that comes on the show. A couple of times I've done it. I'll change to another camera and I'll be kind of like, geez, I got so-and-so on the show. Joe's really cool, and he makes it, very down to earth, right? So I'm probably not going to fanboy out, but when you think about it, I got the president of a global company on the show on Sunday. It's going to be kind of weird. It's going to be fun. But it's nice as well, too, because it's not going to be all about tech. It's going to be hardly anything about tech and all this kind of cool stuff that we normally talk about. We're going to be talking about, achieving success, and however, whether it be music or your job, or maybe your job is music. But there's going to be some good advice shared, I think, on Sunday. So I really kindly invite you to come back over at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific. We'll have some fun. Fred Siegel's asking, line or mic level out? I would be coming out of Helix with quarter-inch level, so we'll be running out line to my mixer. If I was going out to like a send and return or to an amplifier, I'd be going out, instrument level out. But I'm going line out to my mixer, so you're getting quarter-inch stereo right out to your ears on your headphones or your laptop or whatever. And Gary Theriault, scroll up. Where do I see it? Did I miss something, Gary? Let me see. Oh yeah, I seem to have an issue with my Kramer Pacer. When I pull back on the trem bar, it always pops the low E string. Okay, could be several different things. Maybe what you can do, Gary. Here's what I would suggest for you as well too. Now, if it's floating, you could be putting too much pressure on it. But if you can take some pictures of your bridge, I'd be very, very happy to have a look at it, analyze it. Send me an email to info@evhgeartv.com. evhgeartv.com or info@thehelixhour.com, whatever you want. Send me a couple pictures of your bridge, close up if you can, different angles, and I'll have a look at it and see if I can give you any remedies to that. And I'm sorry I missed your comment there as well, too. But very happy wherever I can to offer some diagnosis. I'm not a technician by any means, but I've had a lot of experience with Floyd Rose, and maybe I can help you. So please send it along to me, okay? I appreciate that. Happy to help you. There we go. And Butterfly is forwarded to me as well, too. Speaking of which, have a look at her name, Butterfly and Ladybug Show. Click on that. Go to her channel. She has a brand new channel with Leanne, who's known as Ladybug. And that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They had a great show today. A lot of fun discussion, kind of sometimes not safe for work. There can be some kind of off-color language and things like that. But it's a lot of fun. A lot of people tend to like it because they get to kind of let their hair down and have some fun. All right, let's have some fun here. Let's drop it over to you know what? Let me go before we drop down to tuning here, because I don't have a detuner on my Les Paul here. So we'll stay in the same key. We'll rock it up a little bit. Let's turn the heat up a little bit, okay? Here's a song called Fall Silent. You got it, Gary. A pleasure to help. All right, here we go. Let's have some fun. We're going to crank this up a couple notches now. Who's in favor of the stripper song? I'm wondering if this might actually sound good. Maybe. I'm working on some new slash presets. I'm working on some really cool slash presets for Helix. And I'm just wondering, I may give you a little bit of a sample of them. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. Maybe It's a nice beefy Marshall, nice old JCM 800. That's just raw on its own. Just a hair of overdrive on top of that. Man, I'm really messing that up. So it's kind of getting there. All right, maybe we'll try. Okay, I'm gonna save the Slash one for later. I'm not 100% feeling it for my song right now. It's gonna be fine for Slash, but try that later on. Let's go back to my other preset here. One sec here. All right, time for the stripper song. I remember that one time when I did that. Come in, I went. That was really embarrassing. That's supposed to have some kick in the pants. All right, stripper song for you. Garry said the pinch harmonics coming out of that guitar are brilliant. It's mostly in the fingers, but wow, thank you, appreciate that. And Brad Miller, if somebody asked me if I could tilt my camera earlier. I'll try to get a bit more if I can. That's a bit better. Get a bit more of the guitar. I know that's what you're worried about, is the guitar. We'll try to get that in here. This guitar was something that hit me out of left field, and I will never, ever part with this guitar. All right, here we go. Let's talk more strippers. It's actually called Fantasy.
One night
Always a fun one. Always a fun one. We're getting some comments, Garry Davlin, liking the harmonics. Yeah, they definitely come out of this guitar really, really nicely. I'll do a few more songs here before we wrap up. And since we're still in the same key here, let's keep it in drop. What are we at? Actually, we're just regular tuning, but half step down, I guess. I'm all over the place here. And it's really funny. I almost went into my next song. I was almost going to go into Loaded Gun as I was playing. 9 to 42, Theriault NYXLs, Gary. The only string I will play. These things just absolutely freaking amazing. I don't endorse the brand. I don't, nothing that way, but I just love the string. Mark Allen, awesome playing. Thank you so very, very much. Lewis says the stripper song sounds like it can actually be used on the pole dance. It probably could. It probably very, very well could. All right, just embellishing a little bit of things here. Here we go. Some Loaded Gun for you. It's hard not to put this. It's hard to put this guitar down. It really is. Here we go. Godspeed. Chad Husky is in the chat. Brother, love to see you, my friend. Nice talking to you the other day. Nice to have you here as well, too. Let's go back to a couple other questions. Garry Davlin, I use NYXL 10s, but now I'm considering 9s. Hey, Don't switch because of me. Don't switch and don't do anything because anyone else does something different. If someone else is getting a different tone, it's probably not the string, it's probably not the guitar, it's probably not the product. It's whatever it is. It's just that person. So if you're comfortable using 10s, was it Garry? Don't switch. And I mean, you can try it and see if you like it. You may not. But use your own judgment for sure. Fred Siegel saying, I used a Dario 9 to 46, great for bends without floppy low E on Les Paul scale length. That's cool. I can definitely appreciate that. I may try that. It says, I know I always thought anything less than 10s were wimpy, but I think I'm going to try 9s in my two main guitars. I like this. It's just slinky as all hell. I really, really do like it. Terry Heim says, question, back when I used to get to Canada often, no passport was needed. Do Canadians also need a passport to come to the U.S.? Just a curious question. Yes, indeed. You have to have a passport to basically go anywhere these days now. Security's gotten a lot tighter for a lot of good reasons. So, yeah, you do need that. So there you go. We need him as well, too. I had to get Junior one last year when he accompanied me to NAMM. We'll be there again next year as well, too. Okay, we're going to play just a couple more here. And 1 second here. Let me see here. We've probably about 2 songs left, and we're going to see if we can drop this one down here. All right, let's have some fun with this one here. We're going to play 2 last songs in the key of drop D here, and the key, well, we're in drop D, but we're saying that, and we're going to wrap up after these last 2. Here's one called A Silence. Silence. Here we are. Let's silence. All right. Here we go.
I've had all I can handle, way up high on the mantle. Have we seen enough to never seem to feel what's come to
Trust to accept these claims out of line.
be the very last one for the evening here. I'm saving the best for last. People have been talking about harmonics. Let's see how much the harmonics jump out of this one. I'm going to bring up the helix volume just like a dB maybe. This is it. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in this evening, Friday. It's the weekend. Have a party this weekend. Be safe out there. Hotter than heck out there. Try to stay cool and hydrated. I might even be going for a quick dip in the pool right after this. It's late. Mosquitoes are out there, but I need to cool down. I'm going to probably do that. Come and join us again Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific for the Helix Hour. President of Yamaha Guitar Group, Joe Bentaviena, is on the show. It's going to be a 60-minute presentation. We've now gone to 90 minutes. We're going to keep this one kind of short, and it's going to be fast and lots of fun and lots of really cool insider stories and kind of like, talking about the history of success of various companies he's worked for and just great work ethics, and I think it could be a positive influence on all of us. So tune in for that one. We're going to wrap it up here with a song I just love to play, and when I hit the squeals on this one, it makes me very, very happy. When I don't, it makes me less. Ready to rock and roll is run away. I'm going to say goodbye to you now. Thank you so very much for a fantastic Friday evening, and let's get some squeals happening on this one. You guys all rock. If you're new here tonight as well too, please subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you don't miss a beat here, and I'll work very hard to keep you as a subscriber. Trust me, I promise that.
Hey, you're still here? Eric Jr. here, reminding you to check out our full lineup of quality merch. Available right now in the Broadstash Boutique. Quality products and fast shipping. Visit broadstash.com today.
I am now on Patreon. If you enjoy my content and wish to support my channel and what I do, then please check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/evhgeartv. Your support assures the continued growth of this channel and a fun community in which to share our love for Van Halen, music gear, and much more.
My name is Eric and I play Wolfgang guitar.
Video production services provided by Design 39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rode Microphones, and official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com.